Hello. In this video, we are going to solve these questions related to a stack part of the Astra data structure chapter in the IB or A-level computer science course. These questions come from the IB exam for the HL session of the paper. I suggest you to stop the video, try the question by yourself, and then come back, and we going to check if the answers are correct by creating a trace table together at the end of the video. So even if you do it by yourself, come back and let's check together. Here it says that we have an stack, right, called renums, where for real numbers, where we're going to store real numbers. This is an example of the stack that we're going to have, and there is an algorithm that should be constructed that will find the smallest number and the largest number stored in this stack, right? So I will go and check each of these positions by popping out each of these numbers and comparing to see which one is the smallest one and which one is the largest one. After this algorithm finish, after we get to the bottom of the stack and then there is no elements anymore, we are going to have only one, which is the sum of these two numbers, and we're going to push this into the stack. So at the end, it should have only one element, which is the sum of the largest and the smallest one. That's it. We just need to keep in mind that it says that we should assume that we already have the stack and that it contains real numbers, and we must use the access method. For example, we must use the pop method to take the numbers out and push method to push the number in. We're going to use the isEmpty to check if the stack is empty. We're going to do that in 3 steps only. Let's start by creating our variables for smallest, largest, current, and sum. Here, for the smaller and largest, we need to initialize them with a number because we are going to compare this, right? So we need to initialize it with a number. Which number? We have 2 options. Or we give it the smaller and larger integer that can be stored in an integer data type, or easily we assume or we give this number, we pop this number out, the first number that we're gonna pop out from the stack, and we say that this will be our smallest number and the largest number, and then we compare each of the rest that are here with this smaller and larger. So to do that, we need to pop that number out, saying the stack name that pop, and that will give me out the 53. Now the 53 doesn't exist in this stack anymore. Okay, for the largest we do the same, but we don't pop out again because remember 53 doesn't exist anymore. It will pop out the negative 40. We don't want that, so we just say that this is the same as the smallest. Cool. With this, we have our initialization of the smallest and largest number. Now we can go and check each of them and compare with this smaller and larger, and update is necessary. To do this, we want to run again and again and again, so it's a loop, but we don't know how many items can the stack have, so a for loop will not be good. It's a while loop that will do the job here. We're going to loop until the stack here is empty, until there is nothing else, right? So we can say, okay, I know that I have the method of the stack called isEmpty, so I can say, okay, while the stack is empty is equal to false. Of course, you can use the exclamation mark to indicate that it's not, or you can write is not empty in this case. So, and this is a method. So while this is what will check if it's empty, and it will say no, false, right? Because there are items here yet. And then this is equal to false. Therefore, I will run. Okay. What do we want to run inside of the loop? Update my current to be this number that I'm taking out from the stack, and then I will compare this current with my smallest and largest, and that will require an if function. If current is smaller or equal than the smallest, then update that one, update the smallest one. Okay, and then we want to say else if, to check the other thing, right? When we say if the current is bigger than the largest, then we want to update this larger. After, because remember we're writing this inside the code, we just want to close the to if. Okay, let's stop right here and check. Right now we want to continue doing this until this becomes true, until the last is 15.2, goes out here, compare, blah blah blah, go back, and is true, is empty, and go out. When we do that, when we end our loop, we want to now use that smaller, and this is the third step, we want to use that smaller and largest number to calculate the sum and push this number back to the stack. And we want to push this to the stack. And with this, we finish. How do we check? Again, we want to create our trace table. With our trace table, we will be able to see what's going on with each of the variable at each point, and finally see if our algorithm is correct. So here is the trace table, and we say okay, at the beginning, what is my smallest number? Well, my smallest number, and let's see here again, we can take the full stack and put it next to this table. Okay, so here I say okay, at the beginning I have these numbers, and the smallest is 53 because I add this number there. Same with the larger, but I don't have anything with the current and the sum yet. Yes. Then when I enter to the while loop, here you're saying okay, you did that, this one are created, no initialized with value. So here I say okay, is this true? No, it's false, is equal to false, is good. I want to update my current. Okay, now I'm not changing these ones yet. I'm updating my current to what? Well, -40. I don't do anything with the sum. When I update my current with -40, I say, is the current smaller than the smallest one? Yes, so I update my smallest one here, but I don't do anything with the largest one, right? And nothing else. I just update my smallest one. Then I go back, because this is still, this number is already pop out, this number is already pop out, so only these three remaining. I pop this out here in current. Now current is -10.4, right? And I say okay, now that I have -10.4, is that smaller than the smallest one? No. Okay, is that here in my if, is that bigger than the largest one? No. Okay, so cool. I go back again and update my current one to 60, right? And when I update my current one to 60, I will see that the smallest here, the current is not smaller than the smallest one, so we don't do anything with the smallest one, but with the largest we have, that is largest, so we update it. Then we do the same with the current of 15.2. We see that nothing changed, and then this is not true, this is true, it's empty. So this whole red part here is not true. The while will go out. I will update my sum. So here, this is still 60. Look at the value that we have, -40 and 60. Now we are updating the sum. We are not doing anything with the current because it's out of the while loop. And we update the sum to what? Well, to 20. Because in this case you have the sum of these two numbers is 20. And we push this back. So we push this to the stack, being the only number 20. And that proves that our solution is correct. Thank you.